Chatter Gang. It's your editor, Mutant Narwhal Plays, aka Jace. There will be a trigger warning later on in this episode. I will cut in and let you know how far to skip forward. When it switches to silence, then my voice, the trigger warning will be stated with its contents and how many minutes to skip forward. Thank you and enjoy this show and our lovely guest. We're so happy you're here. Alright, well, y'all have fun.
Welcome to Chatter Gang, a pod about the magic in the gathering. I am your host, Hope Speaking, but you can call me Jose. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, talk with all your friends about the podcast because we have amazing people on all the time, including today. Today, someone who gave me my first opportunity to be on a live stream in general, gameplay, someone who I hold very close to my heart because they are very special to me and they never forget me when it comes to times of setting up streams, setting up special events, things like that. I love them to death, and you're gonna love them too. We have Loudmouth Heffa. Heffa, how you doing today?
Beautiful people, and to my rowdier crowd, what's up, bitches and bros and loudmouth hoes? And I am actually doing very well. This was actually a long time in the making.
It's very true. It's
Um,
been it's been honestly, you were one of the first people I reached out to actually schedule for this. And
yes,
life has found a way to really screw with both of us. And honestly, that kind of is kind of where I want to start here is how is life going for you now?
life has been changing. I'm gonna say that at the very least here. I recently got done moving, so that's a new thing that's happened. The process was not easy given the fact that my significant other was out of town because he works in the oil rig business. So unfortunately, I had to do all the moving in myself. So that process
It's
was very
crazy.
strenuous. Yes. But other than that, like me getting back into the swing of things, me getting back into my own content creation bag has been, I want to say smooth.
Good,
It
good. I
has
mean,
been,
that's the most important thing is how it feels. Because I know sometimes just doing content in general can be so difficult. Whether it's been you've been doing it consistently for an amount of time, if you stop and then have to come back to it, it can feel so difficult. And I feel
Mhm.
like for you, you're someone who you've had stuff happen and you haven't let it keep you down from coming back to the content. Can you talk about how
Exactly.
can you talk about how much maybe difficulty you've had with that sometimes or how maybe easy it was to transition back into doing those things?
I would honestly say it all depends on the mindset first and foremost, at least for me, because even like I want to dial it back to last year when I took like my 5, 6 month hiatus because around that time I ended up having a new job at that point and my scheduling for that was very inconsistent. So I wasn't able to comfortably stream as I normally would, post content as I normally would. And so I had to find a rhythm and make sure that I was able to get my footing before I was able to make my comeback. So I guess the short answer, as I probably already said, find your rhythm in it. Find your rhythm in the midst of change, and then when you feel comfortable, jump back in when you're ready.
Did you ever feel odd being away from it, or did you feel odd coming back to it when you came back from like that longer hiatus?
I would say it felt odd coming back a little bit because a lot in the community has changed. It's forever changing, first and foremost. Let that be known now.
Very much so.
But coming back into it honestly would be the more difficult part than leaving because contrary to popular belief, ladies and gentlemen, as much as I am very rambunctious, very social on the internet here, I am a hermit 9 times out of 10 in real life. I'm more so to myself. So me like reeling back from all content creation is the easy part.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly like, and you wouldn't be able to tell it because you are so, not to steal part of your name for it, but like loud in your personality, right? And in a beautiful way because it
Thank
makes
you.
you very endearing. It makes you very easy to relate to. It makes you fun to be around, and that's why I always really appreciated that when like you were streaming, you're like you reached out to me, even if we hadn't talked for a couple weeks, a month, or whatever. You're like, hey, I'm starting back up, boom, here's the list,
Here's a
like
sign up.
I need
Whenever
I
you're
need you
ready,
in here.
whenever you're
Yeah.
comfortable.
And I wholeheartedly appreciate that. Let me ask you this because I think this is so interesting, and I know it's probably really hard to coordinate. How is it running a stream game? How is it setting up those games, setting up those streams, and like actually making it happen?
Honestly, it's Sometimes it's a hit or miss, first and
Hmm.
foremost, at least for me, because I always leave it like open ended for everybody. Like anybody and everybody can join as long as they're not problematic to the community for the most part. Like I don't believe in beef. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna hop on no hate train or no trend like to hate someone out. I'm gonna let them show me who they are for themselves before I can make a judgment on like excluding folks from the stuff that I'm doing. But
Yeah.
other than that, like I said, it's open court to any and everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody and everybody's welcome.
Yeah. Does that ever present a problem on game day, for lack of a better term, game day?
I guess the one issue that I have had,
Besides the
I
one time that I threatened to punch the one person in the face, besides that time. And
no
that
no
did
no
not
no. I
happen.
was
That did not
look. I was not even going to reference that. But thanks for the reminder.
that did
That
not
was not even
happen.
that was not.
We're recording this the day after April Fools. That is an April Fool's joke. You cannot hold me against that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. I wasn't even going to reference that, but anyways, I guess my main issue that I've had that back then that I've tackled more so recently is what brackets are we playing?
Mm,
Because 9 times out of 10, I've always adopted the attitude like play whatever you want. I don't mind getting my shit kicked in as long as
mhm,
you're having fun. I'm having fun. But then when I had to sit back and look at like the games after the fact, I have to realize that although that person was having fun, and sometimes I may enjoy them having fun, the other two people in that game might not have been so I want to say joyous about it.
yeah. Yeah,
So
that's really hard.
so finding a way like to rein that in has been a bit difficult at first, especially given the fact that when the bracket system became like open in the beta form first and foremost, that was a discussion that I was not really prepared to have. But long story short, I'm the type of person when it comes to brackets, I don't care what game changers you have or how many. My intent is when are you trying to win by? What
Yep.
turn are you trying to win by and how are you doing it?
I think
That's
that's
how
super
I view the
important. Yeah.
bracket system.
Yeah, I think that's super important, and because there are definitely people who are disingenuous about the bracket system, right? They'll say it's a
Exactly.
it's a bracket too because it doesn't have any game changers. Yeah, but you win by like turn three, so like, is it really a
Exactly my
bracket too?
point.
And I know not every bracket is for every. Well, what was your preferred bracket, by the way? What is your preferred
My
bracket?
preferred bracket's 3, but I am teetering to 4.
Okay, okay. Do you? How do you feel? Would you? So you're in three, pretty solidly in three. I think I would have said that too. You're moving
Yes.
toward four because you're definitely a good deck builder, and we'll talk about your deck building challenges that you've talked about doing and have done and things like that. Because I know, and because I know, like 32 is crazy, by the way, just absolutely
Yes.
insane.
And I've
But
had to rework some of that, but we'll get into that later.
yeah, like that. I think that's 3,200 cards. Okay, that's aside the point. So anyway, so we're just, like thinking about decks and building. Would you be more likely to move toward CEDH bracket five, or would you be more likely to come down to like a bracket two, bracket one, somewhere in there?
With the recent bullying that I've been dealing with, and I say bullying lightly, from MTG Mommy and Eddie, from Diabolic Misplay, I might have to say that I'm gonna be upscaling to 5.
Okay.
I might upscale to C at some point. Not now, not in the immediate, but at some point. Probably in the next year or so.
That's fair. That's fair. So let's start with the bracket three. What is your current? We're going to talk about favorite decks that you have later, and that could be something that's now or never, but or not currently happening. But right now, of your bracket three decks, what would you call your favorite?
My favorite bracket 3 deck, honestly, and I can divide it up into like low bracket 3, mid bracket 3, and high bracket
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
like teetering towards bracket 4 slightly.
Hmm.
My low bracket 3, I would say Donald Herald of Wings. It was my mono blue flyers. Honestly, I wanted to do something different with mono blue because mono blue has been known for all the counter magic, all the interaction in the world, all the control. And I didn't believe in doing that when I built Donald. All I just really wanted to do was just plop down flyers, make copies of them, and just go aggro with it. Yes, I just incorporated red and blue. Whoop de doo.
Prismari at heart. And that's also why I built braids, the blue braids, because like it's very group huggy. It's very like I just want to draw a bunch of cards, and y'all can do whatever you want. I'm just gonna draw my cards.
Look, all I have to say is, and a little disclaimer out there, If y'all seen my videos and know what I'm about, I do not like group hug, but Jose's I can tolerate because they like he is honest about it.
I exact and even the first time I played it, you were skeptical,
I was skeptical. I
and I
was
said
very
and I
skeptical.
said, "Trust me, like this is not like I'm gonna all of a sudden put like Kozilek out for free or something." It was literally just, "Hey, y'all have fun," as
Y'all have
Jason
fun
said
with
at the beginning,
resources, yeah.
and then I'm just gonna do my thing over. I'm like, it's not like I'm playing solitaire, but I'm like, y'all are building a castle, and I'm over here like, okay, actually, this is the best way to. Have you ever watched any of the fashion shows like Project Runway or Next in Fashion
Um,
or any of those?
the closest I can say that I've seen was RuPaul's Drag Race.
RuPaul's Drag Race. Okay, so Rachel and I right now. Shout out to Rachel. Love Rachel. We were watching Next in Fashion, which has Tan France and Gigi
Ooh,
Hadid, and they did a thing recently where it was like team ups, right? So two
mm,
people who like maybe have different ways of thinking of fashion, and the one guy's really idealistic, and the other one's like really heavy sewing and like sleek fashion, whatever. They made these like very going out at night, kind of almost a Phantom of the Opera things, and
ooh.
then had like a purse that looked like a piece of pizza. So like y'all are the people who are like looking real nice, ready to go out, and I'm the pizza bag. I'm just the pizza. That's what braids is. I'm just the pizza bag, hanging out, having
You
fun.
know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. Honest
So
and go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
no, no. Go ahead. You're good. Go ahead.
But back to Donald there.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I just wanted to do flyers, and lo and behold, I didn't think Mono Blue had the ability to become aggro until I touched it. So
Hey, I mean, hey, if you put your heart into it enough, you can do anything, right?
that is true.
That is very true.
And now I
So
have to lean into mid bracket three real quick. Jesus
yes,
Christ.
yeah, I was gonna say that's probably the harder one, right? Like the actual like true bracket three.
I have a
W-
lot of
Would
contenders.
would you consider what would you consider Hobby? Because that's one of my decks, one of the decks that you have that is very
Javi?
yeah. What would you consider Hobby? Is that a mid or a
Javi
high?
Allfather. Look, and I want to say this too. I was in a JM stream a couple of days ago.
Shout out them and try and casually love them.
Yes, love them down to bits. And honestly, before that, I was on their stream months ago, like 5, 6 months ago, and I had Javi the All Father like up there too. And he bricked like he was doing so poorly that I had to sit back and think he might be the one that I had to tear apart. Might,
No. Okay.
might,
Okay.
but this past stream, Javi Loki was showing his ass, and in a good way, of course.
Yeah, of course, of course.
And he was actually doing his shit. Although I didn't win, like apparently according to most people in the pot, I was the MVP of it because a lot of people wasn't expecting me doing Javi the Allfather as legendary aristocrats. All I want to do is just get my legendaries to the bin, have them die so I can get the lesser CMC from the bin out, and just rinse, wash, repeat.
And it does a really good job of it. That's why like that's one of those decks that really comes to mind when I've played against you is because maybe once it didn't do its thing, but for the most
Yes.
part, that deck does its thing.
Yes, it consistently does this thing. I will admit. So I will have to say Javi will be the true mid bracket three. I was about to say Bernard too, but then I had to sit back. But then I had to sit back and look at him and realize he's teetering more on the mid to high. Like he's in the middle right there,
Okay, okay. I mean, you know, he's as it were. That this is going to be a bad pun. I'm really sorry in advance. He's rising.
rising like the bread he makes.
Exactly, exactly. Making those cookie, they rise. So he's rising too. It's perfect.
Fair enough. And now high bracket three, and honestly, Jose, you are going to cringe at this one. And a lot of people will not believe me when I say this, but Wolfgar is high bracket three. I
I
will
believe you.
admit this. I will admit Wolfgar is a high bracket three because I played him. I'm known for Wolfgar, first and foremost. For
Yes, you
those
are.
who do not know me, hi, I'm the Wolfgar player that everybody loves. I like Wolfgar has such a backstory, at least to me, and I've explained it on social media, but I'll explain it here for those who are new to me and haven't seen it yet. Wolfgar, honestly, around the time that Adventures of the Forgotten Realms was out, I was dealing with a bad like breakup at that point. Like my relationship that I had with my ex at that time, and this was me dating him going on 3 to 4 years at that point. When shit came to a head because I found out that he was doing some infidelity and then tried to turn around and blame it on me. So I kind of had to put myself in a box a little bit because it felt like that everything that people around him were saying, I deemed it true because I was in a vulnerable state. So at that point, when Adventures of the Forgotten Realms came out, I immediately looked at Wolfgar. I'm just gonna show right here because he was right in front of me the whole time.
Just like Sam Reich, I was here the whole time.
But when I saw Wolfgar and at least the potential that I had with him, I immediately kind of constructed the deck as an apology to myself because I didn't take care of myself back then, but I'm for damn sure gonna do it now. Like
I
that
love
has
that.
been the moral story that I've always had with Wolfgar.
I love it. I think that's really, it's really touching. It's such a hard story because I think I've told you I've been through a divorce myself, and like long-term relationships into split ups, especially when there's cheating involved, is really hard. And it's really
Yes,
easy to hear those negative things and say, you know what, maybe it was my fault, maybe whatever. But it's also important, and I think it's really good that you brought this up. It's important to like show yourself love and show yourself care, and know that
exactly.
you can't blame you for what they do. You just can't.
I can. And ultimately, it wasn't really the negative voices in my head. I almost lost sight of me. That
Yeah,
was the biggest takeaway. I almost lost sight of me, and ultimately, Wolfgar kind of centered me back. And that's
yeah,
honestly kind of what I am grateful for about this game called Magic the Gathering. But more specifically, Wolfgar, of course, because
yeah,
he hasn't been where he hasn't gone anywhere. As
yeah.
much as you would love to see him go, and fuck Ishin, by the way, let that be known now.
That's very fair though. That's totally fair. But yeah, Wolfgar is dope. Like I love that deck. It's especially when your chat gets involved and lets you get an extra combat in. Like it's like, oh well, who's ready for game two? All right, cool.
Look. Wolfgar. As we're gonna get probably gonna switch over into like what's my favorite deck. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
Wolfgar, ladies and gentlemen. Let that
yeah.
be known now. But I could just honestly pull up the deck right now as I have it. Yes, I've come prepared, folks.
Stay strapped, everyone.
I stay strapped in these streets. Honestly, though, as of lately, I have been thinking about bumping Wolfgar into a bracket four.
Yeah,
And that's been a topic of mine that I recently talked about with Reversal Wizard Keontae. Shouts out to him, by the way.
shout
And
out.
shout out to Joe Johnson, because
Mhm.
I was in a stream with them recently as well. And I had to sit
Nice.
back and look at Wolfgar, and Wolfgar honestly was not fast enough for them.
I've yeah, okay, so I've played against Joe on Tropical Nerd and Flooded Strands stream. Shout out to them
Yeah.
too. The other Jose's. I'm the third Jose. But shout out to, but I played, he played the Miles deck. That thing, Joe's decks are so fast.
Yes,
Joe's
they
are
are.
so fast. And like you're like you could be like, yeah, my deck's pretty good. And then you go against that, you're like, fuck, what am I
Fuck
building?
no.
What am I
Like,
building over here?
like I'm sitting up here thinking like I have not been the type of person that would talk about running mana dorks like heavily, not mana dorks heavily in
Mhm.
a deck as of lately until that happened because he was playing Raph and a Mikey Troublemakers.
Like,
I was
no.
playing against them.
Oh,
Trust me. I was in Wolfgar. Like, you know what? I'm here for this. I like this, but at the same time, though, I had to sit back and reevaluate myself and was, you know what? Wolfgar, we might need a little bit more of TLC
we
here.
might need
We
some
might need to up
juice.
your speed a bit. Yeah, we need some
Yeah.
juice.
Yeah.
Bad.
Damn. Well, I mean, so I played against. I've been playing a little bit of arena. I've been playing brawl, which if you play arena, don't play brawl. It's so toxic. But
Yes, it is.
but I've been playing. I was playing brawl, and someone played Raph and Mikey, and when they attacked, a world spine worm,
I'm sorry. I had to take off my glasses for a moment. Excuse.
world spine
Mm,
worm. Yeah, world spine worm. I was still in. I was playing Helga, I think, the Bant one. So like I was just trying to
yes.
like I was just trying to get like incremental gains, like just trying to put my shit out. And then that happens. I'm like, well, this is over. I'm done for. Like so yeah, that deck is really hard. And I would reconsider too. I'd be like, you know what? I can fix this. It's
And
good.
honestly, the sad part about it was I need to pick up Mike and Raffy
Yeah.
Troublemakers in the
Yeah.
99 of my Wolf car. I've talked about it on my social media, and a lot of people think of me as a madman for it. Guess the fuck what? I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense, and I think I'm glad Wolfgar is one that stood the test of time, because Wolfgar has been so entertaining for me to watch while playing against it, while being on stream, while watching stream, whatever. Wolfgar is just real. I think, and no matter what people say about it, I think everyone loves playing against it because they know what it is. It's like it's honest. It's an honest deck. It's
Exactly
I,
my
I'm a
point.
I'm a what's the name of the deck? What's the name of the deck?
Nuck if you buck.
Nook. If you book.
I nuck if you buck. Exactly. If
Exactly.
we're
So
gonna name it as Hot Singles In always says, if you're gonna name it after that song, it better do what it does.
exactly. So it's punching people in the fucking mouth. That's what it does.
Exactly.
We're not playing around. So like you talked about, group hug can be kind of devious. It can be kind of like, typically you're just waiting for them to do the thing that you're like, oh, okay, like this is stacks. This is actually just stacks. Like
Like
why are you
what the fucking
like
do? I
yeah,
see it now. Can we move
yeah,
on,
yeah,
please?
yeah. You're just playing Eldrazi. Great. No, like when you're honest about it, I think people have more fun with it, and that's why I enjoy it, because it's like my Galta deck, big beefy boys bumping beef like that. Like it's just
Exactly.
you know what to expect. Big dudes. That's it.
And this is what I always tell everybody in the pods that I play. At the end of the day, what you see out of me is what you're going to get. There's really nothing devious about me. And even more so, even in gameplay, and Jose is my living witness, I will never lean into politics unless I have to.
Yep, this is
Unless
very
I
true.
have to.
Yeah, I think I've literally heard you say, someone's like, Sammy, do you want? You're like, fuck no, I'm gonna punch you
Fuck
in the
no.
mouth. I'm not. I'm like, will you not attack me? Oh, I'm gonna punch you. I'm gonna hit
I'm
the.
going to punch
I'm
you.
going to
Let
do
this be
it.
known. So whatever you got to do to protect yourself, do it.
It's so true. I love that deck to death. Is this something where like you would completely push it into bracket four? Because this is like
Yes.
this is okay. So like no coming back, maybe coming back later, but like you know what I mean. Like no coming back. It's gonna
Yes.
be a bracket four, and that's what it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be.
Yes.
Okay. So as it comes to potentially moving into bracket five, you said maybe a year from now. I doubt it'll be a year. I'm sure it'll be quicker. You're gonna see like Eddie, and you're gonna see mommy like very Commander Sealed, which we'll also talk about.
Yes.
We'll also talk about that, because I know how important Commander Sealed and Trevor Project is for you. But if you were to move into bracket five, what is your ideal commander?
I have two deck lists for this already. I'm gonna let
Okay.
this be known. I came prepared for this. One of them, one of our mutual friends, EDH Senpai, was the one who suggested this because I wanted to do mono red for such a long time in CDH. But the lines in mono red were so convoluted that it honestly hurt my head.
Yep.
Like Magda with treasures, and then you're just trying to stacks out the table until you burn people to death, and it's spell slinger death nine times out of 10 all you're going to be doing is just waiting for a dual caster mage to go infinite.
Yep.
But what I wanted to do was long shot from Avatar. I just wanted to do like just basically storm off as much as I did, as much as I want to. Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm
Okay.
getting way too ahead of myself because I don't have the deck. I'm not about to sit up here and sink in thousands of dollars, even though proxies do exist. Look, times are tough, bitch. I have to at least make something worth like shaking, okay?
Yeah. Exactly.
But EDA Senpai suggested that I do Dragon's Approach
Okay.
for CDH. And I had to sit back and think and realize this is dumb, this is simple, this is stupid, but it works.
It works. It really
It
works.
works.
Anytime you can
Like it,
throw 40 of something in a deck, it's not a bad thing.
oh, it's not even 40 in one deck. It's actually 25 because all I'm
Okay.
really doing is just burning out the table.
Yeah.
Wait for one dragon, null spine dragon. For those who
Yep.
do not know, when that thing touches down, I discard my hand and draw equal to the amount of damage that I dealt to the entire table. All I'm essentially doing is just burn and wheel until I hit Underworld Breach,
Yep.
and then I just keep casting like Dragon's Approach LED repeatedly.
Yep. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. It's gross.
Um,
It's gross, but it works.
And then my second CDH deck, and I did this actually back in like 2018, I think it
Okay.
was, when CDH was a lot simpler,
Yeah.
as I will be real about it. Speaker Vanifar, yes. In the year 2026, we are going back to Birthing Pod.
All right. All right. I haven't heard that in a minute.
Basically, all I'm just gonna do is, if those who remember Speaker Vanifar, all you really are gonna be doing is just chaining up while untapping Vanifar until you hit Protean Hulk. After that, you sack the Protean Hulk. You don't search for an 8 drop, but what you get out of the Protean Hulk death trigger is a Zuri Claw Progress, Sage of Hours, 5 0 drop creatures. So where Izuri will check that, get the experience counters, go to combat, put all those counters onto the Sage of Hours, and take infinite turns.
Yep. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. You do love your infinite. Okay, we're gonna bring it up. We have to bring it up. We have to bring it up. Tell the people.
I'm
Tell the people the
sorry.
story. Tell the people the story.
I'm sorry. Okay, 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 okay,
You brought up
okay.
infinite turns. I have to bring it up for a preface. Heffa almost made me quit Magic, not legitimately, but like for like like I was like this is miserable. This is legitimately miserable.
You know what? I will have to bring in context to this.
Yes, please do.
Hi. For those who do not know, I am the type of person that loves diversity when it comes into Magic. And all of that, I like different color combinations with different strategies. Like I'm an enigma when it comes to deck building, first and foremost. So anything that I haven't seen myself do yet, I want to try it at least once. If I like it, I'm going to stick to it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna can it and move on because ultimately at the end of the day something will come up eventually. Demir was the is the preface of this entire conversation now.
It says everything you need to know.
Around the time Hidetsugu and Kairi was the commander that I had of choice, and what I did, and I regret that. You know what? I can't say that I regret this fully because the deck did what it was.
You regret one third of it because you don't mind that it happened to the other two people. You mind that it happened to me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There we go. Thank you for wrapping that up so perfectly. But with Hidetsugu and Kairi, for those who do not know, that when they enter the battlefield, I brainstorm. Draw three, put two back on top. When they die, I reveal the top card of my library. If it's an instant or sorcery, I get to cast it for free. People lose life equal to the CMC, and opponents lose life equal to the CMC. I did extra turns with that because big spells, 9 times out of 10, had extra turns involved in it. And I was cloning the crap out of my commander too.
Yep.
So basically, all I kept doing was okay, I'm just going to get my commander out, just resculpt my hand and deck, clone, do the same thing again. Legendary rule kicks in, sack, reveal, extra turn,
Over
and then rinse,
and
wash, repeat.
over and over and over and over and over until I almost threw my deck into the garbage. That
But
did not
like I said,
actually.
I regret a third of that, and I would
You
like
regret
to
a third of it.
apologize that you had to be introduced to me by that.
You know, but I will say part of me was so proud of you because the other two involved have been menaces, had been menaces to the core. So I get it. But to be one of the three, you know, I got caught in the crossfire. It's like, you know, when the
You
Avengers.
were the collateral damage,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, the Avengers are trying to stop the bad guys, and you know what? I was just the guy that was watching the building fall, and I just happened to be there. It just is what it is. But no, that deck was really good. I know you don't. I know it's been decommissioned,
Very
but
decommissioned, unfortunately.
it was a good deck. It was a really
It
good deck.
was. I agree. Oh my
But now you're
goodness.
just going to do it again in CEDH, and that's more palatable. I can deal with that. So that's fine.
Yeah, fair.
In different colors, obviously, but you know, all the same.
Yes.
Yeah. But talking about deck building and saying that you like doing things that you haven't done, one of the things that we touched on earlier is that you did the 32 color wheel.
Color Wheel Deck Project.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, you've done it. You know what you're talking about. So
You know what? So just take it away.
yeah, go for it.
Um, Last year when I started my journey, well, I don't want to say started my journey as a content creator, but more so when I pretty much emphasized myself as one. I started doing a challenge every week for the most part to where I start from the monocolors and work all the way to Wooburg into what commander would I build out of those colors, what strategy it was going to be involved in, and some of the cards that they were going to be put in it to explain said strategy. That was a lot, even for me, I will admit, because look, I was just excited to be putting myself out there. I
Mhm.
will let that be known now. And moreover, I had to rework some of my videos because a lot has changed, which therefore, with those changes, some of those commanders have to kick
Yep.
rocks.
Yep. Yep. That's
uh,
very true.
and you know what? I don't even want to talk about topical stuff,
Yep.
but when the whole situation when Nicki Minaj came up, I immediately canned my Queen Marchesa. I'm sorry.
You know what? The touch on it, yeah, that fucking sucked. That's the
Yeah,
touch I will say on
yeah,
that.
yeah. Even with that, like my Ryonga deck back in the day, which a lot of people say that that was like my heavy bracket four, and to
Mhm.
some extent, I will agree. It felt too linear to me, and I had to kick that for long shot, which is going to be my mono red, which is going to be
Mhm.
my first CEH deck that I'm ever going to be doing. Like I had to rework a lot on that list, and I'm still reworking some of those now.
Yeah,
Like
it's
even with my He Doesn't Go in Kyrie, like I had to kick that because I'm doing Ham from Avatar.
ooh, that's a lot of fun.
Look, I
So,
never thought
well,
in the day in my life that I wanted to do theft. You know what? I did theft once
you
upon a
did,
time
yeah.
too. So I will have to say that I never thought that I would come back to it. Let me rephrase.
We always come back to theft. It is what it is. It is what it is. But what I
Yep.
what I will say, and I talked about it a little bit in last episode, but the fact is we are getting so many commanders now because of Universes Beyond. Whether you like Universes or not,
Or not.
it is not
Look,
the
I'm
is not the
indifferent. I'm
situation.
indifferent to it either way.
Yeah, and like whether you like it or not, cool. But the fact of the matter is, we are getting so many, not just cards, but we're getting so many commanders, like new commanders, not reprints, not
Yep.
anything like that. Brand new named commanders who are in Raph and Mikey, for example, incredibly powerful,
Yes, it
incredibly
is.
powerful,
Yes, it
and
is.
like it feels like they're only getting more and more powerful because the things that were like they're trying to acquiesce
Ups.
the company.
It's not even really that, but I feel like more so if I can touch on this a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
I
yeah, go for
feel
it.
like Commander has seen a lot of like power scaling and at least upscaling over the years. And I
Yep.
will say ever since after Lord of the Rings was the notable shift
Yeah, it was
into the
huge.
meta of Magic,
Yeah.
especially in Commander.
Yeah, it was huge.
Like
Like Orcish Bowmaster is still like ridiculous, right? The
and
ring is
even
still
to the and
ridiculous.
even to this day, Lord of the Rings still upholds itself highly for at least some of the value in the set
Yep,
alone.
yep. It like and yeah, because it was genuinely a good set, and it doesn't feel so far away from Magic. It feels it
Exactly.
feels close enough to Magic that it doesn't feel bad. Where I'm not gonna say that I feel bad. I'm not gonna say that it feels bad to like have Spider-Man or Avatar or whatever, but like it just it's very clearly different. That I
It's
think that's the
clearly
best way to put
different.
it.
I feel
Clearly
like with the
different.
universes beyond that we see now is leaning more towards of the IP alone
Yeah.
rather than like the game that is trying to be incorporated in.
Yeah, yeah, because Lord of the Rings definitely felt like a Magic set that just happened to be Lord of the Rings. That's really what it
Exactly.
felt like because it wasn't a mass orcs might have been the only thing I can think of, and that was
And the
really
ring
like
temp mechanic.
and the ring temp. The ring. Okay, I will say I hate the ring temp. That's the whole. But that has to do that. That's not for today. That's not for today, Jose. Pull it back. Okay.
No, it's not.
But as a whole, other than those two things, it was pretty like it was just like here's some cycling, here's like protection, here's pinging, here's mana dorks. That was it. Like food. Here's some food.
Exactly.
Like things that we already had. So it made it feel a lot easier. Where today, and again, some of the cards are really good in the universes beyond, but there's so many that, like you said, you have to look at the sets as they come out and say, well, this is very clearly way more powerful and makes way more sense for whatever color I'm doing at this point.
Exactly. Like, and even then, like, ultimately, with a lot of product that we are getting, even as of now, like I said, it's so hard, even as for us content creators to keep up, especially like covering it, talking about it, expressing our opinions about it. Even more so, like with me, wanting to like deck build involving the universes beyond set, because since we are getting so over flooded with it, especially for me, I tend to 9 times out of 10 back out of it
Hmm.
when they first release, and I have to give it like maybe a couple of months before I look at the set fully to at
Yeah,
least like start to appreciate it.
I just started looking at Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just started looking at it.
Mm,
Like I like this week. It has been so hard with so much stuff coming out, and I don't and I mean there's so much going on in the world as it is. Like
exactly.
to have to try to also remember magic sets on top of it and every single magic card that comes out is so difficult where I just rather like I'd rather feel like when I go look through cards and like there's a card from 1999 and I'm like, oh, this would go pretty well. That's literally what I feel like I'm doing with all the sets that have come out now. I'm like, oh, this looks pretty. Oh, this was like 9 sets ago, which was 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
like oh yeah, this works out perfect instead of keeping so up to date that I burn myself out because I think that's a fear that I have. How do you
and
feel
I've
about that?
And honestly, and I will touch on that too, and I've seen a lot of creators ultimately get burnt out from the overload of all this product and all this content coming out and trying to
Yeah,
cover it as much as they can. Like, even to some point of a couple of folks just say, fuck this, I'm done
yeah,
because of it. Like,
It's
and
hard.
ultimately, that's been a fear of mine too. So that's why I always try to pace myself with it in bits and pieces. And I'm not trying to keep up with the trend,
Yeah.
as I like to call it.
Yeah, you're just doing you. You're just doing you. You're having fun with it, doing whatever feels best. And I think that's important to be able to stay active in the scene. Even when you have those lulls where like you've talked about you've had to step away. I've had to step away. I'm not doing as much with my personal content anymore. Like it's a lot more about unless I'm talking about Jace Bellerin, in which case fuck Jace Bellerin. But that's not the point. So, but a lot more of my focus is on the podcast. Like it can be so hard when you're trying to chase the trends, and that includes like
Exactly.
any trend. It can be any trend. It could be following the sets. It can be like like here's 9 cards that explain me. Here's like, oh,
The break my favorite commander,
yeah,
what my
whatever it
favorite
is.
card of each like card type is in
Yeah,
that deck.
and having to try to keep up with every single thing can feel so it can feel like a rat race,
Draining.
right? Yeah,
It's
and it's
draining.
very draining. It's very draining. How do you find what speaks to you for being able to do for your content?
Well, it depends, I believe, on the trend that's out at the time. If I
Yeah.
feel like that, if I can genuinely be myself in that said trend and not feel like that I'm trying to polish myself with it, sure. Like even with like the whole nine cards that speak to me,
Mhm.
like at that moment, like I was just being myself. At like these are the 9 cards that explain to me, and this is all about like the path that I took from when I started playing until now. Like that's how I look into it. I always
Yeah.
try to take it into a deeper level, other than like just at face value. This is just a trend that I'm following, doing it just for the clicks and views, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it can also be hard, right? Not doing it. It can be
Yes.
so hard because you feel so left out, you feel so left behind. And then you see someone who like hit this certain number, you're like, "Dang, I could do that? I could hit that?" Like
Why not? Let's
yeah,
give it a
right, right,
try.
right. Let me ask you this. So we talked a lot about it a little. We're gonna slightly pivot here because this is something that I want to make sure we talk about before we get too far ahead. Um,
Yes.
Commander Sealed is something that you go to every year, even though it's not close to you. It's not
Is
close to you
not
at all.
close to me at all.
It is a flight and a half for you, but it's really important to you. Why is Commander Sealed become such an intricate part of your journey?
And this is look, I gotta take my glasses off real quick because
Yeah,
I'm about to get at least vulnerable here, and I'm gonna at least keep it honest because that's all I know how to do.
that's what you do.
Commander Shield is basically how I started into my content creation. I'm gonna keep it G. Like when me flying out there all alone, 2024. Mind you, I was the only person from Texas that showed up. I will let that be known first and foremost. And I will say first experience there, I did not feel like that I belonged in the content creation community because I really wanted to step my toe in, like to step my foot in it, but I didn't know like what like foot that I wanted to step in. Like I did not know if I was gonna make the right connections. I did not know if I was gonna make the right like meet the right people. I felt like that I was too my personality was too rambunctious, too ghetto, too ratchet. I will be for real here for the space that I'm in now. But after that experience 2024, Commander Sealed honestly just solidified me doing what is being me while creating content. Like KJ the hero, shouts out to him. Me and him
Love
had
PJ.
to thug out day one together because it was our first time out there as well. And so after hanging out with him, meeting other creators like Joe Kilcar, the Still City gang stuff, and Brad,
Love them.
love them down to bits. Like after meeting a lot of folks like that, even Amara God is a blunder. Like
Oh, love
after
Amara.
meeting her,
Mhm.
like I felt like I belonged because I felt like me playing this game, I felt like that I was too black for this. I was too loud. I was too ghetto, too rambunctious. Like I did not feel like that I belonged in that community when like before going out there. But Commander Seal was just honestly the positive reinforcement that I needed. And honestly, the other backstory was my best friend, Nappy Headed Neko. He did a rebrand, literally kicked me out the nest to go because I talked about going to Commander Seal or at least going to a con
Mhm.
at least for the first time ever, and I didn't know which. And this was around the time that MagicCon Vegas 2024 was coming up around that corner as well.
Mhm.
And so he was the one that suggested me to start small, go Commander Sealed, and see how you feel. After that, if you feel like you can do MagicCon Vegas, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so Commander Sealed, honestly, after that, and every year afterwards, I always make it a known point to always go because if it wasn't for that event, I honestly would not be here.
I I think that's so important to recognize how brave it is that you went to something that you didn't want to, because that's hard. That's really hard. A, it's really hard to do something you don't want to do. B, it's hard to do something you don't want to do when it costs a decent amount of money and a decent amount of
Yes.
travel. And C,
Yes.
it's really hard to do something when you feel so out of place. Like it's shout out Rodney, Hot Singles In.
Stig was in.
When we were in Atlanta, he brought a question up to Joe Johnson and to Kuro and them, asking about how do you be yourself when you feel like yourself won't be accepted. And us being people of color, being black, being, like you said, being all these things that people might look at and say no, for
Exactly.
whatever reason, and that can feel so bad that you want to be something that you're not. It can be so easy to do that, but
Hmm.
being willing to go out there and be you and find out that this is for you and that this is something that you're good at and something that people will accept you as you.
Not
I think it's
even
huge.
that, but just more so being able to be recognized because of it.
Yeah.
Like even as of today, when you go to the Commander Seal site, my face is up there
Yes, it
still.
is. Yeah, it is. I say
My
you're
God.
always featured. You're always featured now, which is great. I love that for you.
Which, by the way, being a featured content creator for the second year in a row, I'm not about to sit up here and toot my own horn here, but woo
Toot
woo.
toot
But
toot toot. Yeah,
anyways,
hell yeah. It's
but
huge.
being able to start out small like that to be featured for it and being able to help with donations for it 2 times in a row, honestly, I did not think that I would ever see myself doing that. Honestly, I felt like if that didn't help me like create that positive reinforcement, I felt like I just would have stepped back fully and just gave up on it. But after seeing how like the positive reception that I got from it, and from the people recognizing me even as of now, because some people, like, believe it or not, a lot of people have hit me up on social media and have asked me those same questions. Is like, how do you be you in a space to where you don't belong? And honestly, I would never have the right answer because my experience is never the same as anyone else's.
Yeah.
And so I always tell folks at the end of the day, you know what? If you feel like you're ready, just take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
Just step out into the world as who you are. People are going to accept you if they are going to accept you. Like you will feel it. Otherwise, do not put yourself in any situation or any environment where you're not welcomed in.
Yeah.
Period.
And that can be, especially when you're doing something that is, I guess, for lack of a better term, inherently attention seeking. I don't want to say that that's what social media is, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Let's
you want people to
let's
notice
call it for
you.
what it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
you want people to notice you. You want follows because that means, like you're doing something right, right? So it's inherently
Yes.
attention seeking. So it can be really really hard to not accidentally go into spaces where people don't actually accept you. It can be really hard.
And trust me, even starting out, and and honestly, this brought up a story that I literally just came to mind.
Oh damn.
And honestly, thank you for segueing into that because
Yeah.
this is how I met Eddie in MagicCon Vegas 2024.
Yeah.
Because he was the main one that told me flat out, be careful on who you associate yourself around when you come into this.
Hmm.
Because believe it or not, and I never am the type to promote drama, but there's a lot of drama in the content creation space, whether you want to admit it or not.
You don't say.
And I've always been the type of person that will keep my head low, one, two, mind my business where it pays me, and three, most importantly, if I get dragged in the middle of it, I'm calling out any and everybody and bringing them all to the forefront.
Yep. Yep.
Because one thing I'm not about to do is sit up here and entertain drama that's not paying my bills and it's not keeping me in peace of mind.
I think that's really important to two important points of why to keep yourself out of it. Like I've been dragged into it. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I've been dragged into it, and thankfully I've been dragged out of it because people know me. Like people know me. Like they like, if someone says something about me, they're like him. Like I'm just me. This is me. How you see me on this
Exactly.
podcast, like this is who I am. This is who Heffa is. Like that doesn't change just because we're on camera or on microphone or whatever. This is who we are. We're just like Heffa. I mean, other than Heffa being more quiet away from the microphone, like that's Heffa's real. Heffa's real. I'm real. Like this is who we are, and I think that's an important aspect. Is remember that just because they say something, just because they try to drag you into it, like you said, if it's not like if you're not my wife, if you're not my significant other, if you're not paying my bills, like why am I going to
Why
put
should I
myself in
give a
this?
damn?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Like try to, and it can be hard. It can be hard. I say that knowing it can be very difficult to keep yourself out of it. But I think it's important to remember that when that happens, like you're allowed to have emotions about it. Like I'm never saying don't have emotions
exactly.
about it, but it's important to not keep yourself in that emotion because
In
that can be
there.
super hard.
Thank you.
That's super super hard. Something else with Commander Seal that you talked about raising donations is for you're doing the Trevor Project, correct?
Yes.
You're doing Project. Can you talk about the Trevor Project and what it means to you?
The Trevor Project is a donation site to and an organization, let's be for real, to where they are giving aid to anybody in the LGBT community that has been dealing with mental health issues. And trigger warning here for those who are sensitive to this topic.
Hey, Chatter Gang, it's me again. Trigger warning there is discussion of self harm and ideations following them. Please skip forward 2 minutes if you're sensitive to such topics. If you are having thoughts about hurting yourself or others, please seek out a close friend, family, or community member. If those are not accessible to you and or you feel alone, please call or text your crisis hotline. They are there to help and life is worth giving a try even if it doesn't feel like it today. Thank you, you matter, you are loved, and you deserve to be here. Thank you for listening.
Suicide prevention, suicide awareness, and all of that horrible thing. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be for real about it because, hi, for those who do not know and how I act in my mannerisms, I am gay. So
What?
trust me, yes, like yes, queen. Anyways, but on a serious note though, like I have been as an adolescent, I will say as a teenager, I have been in the space to where I've had those type of ideations and I have attempted to off myself a few times once upon a time ago because I felt so, and this is why I've always told myself to never box myself in because that right there is honestly like my biggest fear. Being boxed in and being in someone else's shadow. Like around that point in my life, I felt like I was in both of those situations at the same time to where I felt like that was my only way out. As dark, and I'm sorry if I'm coming off like laughing about it, but that's just a nervous tick for me,
Yeah.
especially talking about something so dark like that
Yeah.
because even for me, coming out of that dark space was not easy.
Yeah.
I'm going
It's
to let
hard.
you know. With a lot of even with me be having a bachelor's degree in psychology and trying to become a therapist myself, like even it was hard for me of all things to come out of that type of ideation.
It's well, so I don't know if you know this. I also have I also major in psychology and communications. It
Thank
is
you.
hard to do it to yourself. It's easy to do it for other people. It's hard to do it for
But it's
yourself.
harder for yourself.
Yeah, it's hard for yourself because it's like when other people are going through it, you can think more rationally. When you're going through it, you're like, everything sucks. I can't do this.
Yes, exactly. And I'm oh my goodness. And a lot of people always have been the type of person to call me out to say, I'm the type that will always do for others before I ever do for myself.
Yep, I feel that. I feel that.
And I will say that is true. Like that's just been a core like thing about me. I will just pretty much get the last thing off of my back for someone else to like be warm in a cold, or get the last of like my food to make sure that they are fed. Like I'm willing to give my last for other people without expecting anything in return, but I feel so empty after the fact.
Yeah, it's something my wife told me a long time ago is you should never feel like you need to set yourself on fire to keep others warm, and that really
That
sat with me.
resonates.
Yeah, it resonates because often it feels like you're doing literally everything, burning yourself out, literally burning yourself out, which is like setting yourself on fire to make sure other people are
Hmm.
okay to the point where you can't even take care, like you can't like get yourself out of bed because you're so tired and so drained mentally and physically and emotionally. You're like
Exactly.
so everyone please remember to if you need to talk to people, talk to your loved ones, talk to a good friend.
And
People
if
are
it
there
really
for you.
And if it gets really that serious to where you don't feel like that talking to those people are good enough, hit up the
Mhm.
hotline, please.
Hit up the hotline.
Like those people in that chat are real people. Let that be known now. It
Yeah.
isn't AI as much as you've seen it out lately. They are willing to talk to you human, like as a human being. Like it's gonna be confidential as well. And if it gets that worse, commit yourself into like a facility to make sure that you are okay.
Yeah.
I've done it before.
Yeah, you are important. You are loved. Something I remember. It's a line I always think of. Um,
Help.
the
You
help
are
is so
kind. You are
important.
loved.
You are
Yes,
loved.
you are
You are
loved.
loved
You
because
are
you are loved.
kind, and you are important.
Yeah, you are loved, and it's not anything you do that makes you loved. It's existing. You exist. That means you are
Yes,
loved. So never forget that. Never feel like you have to do something to earn that. Because I felt that way. I felt like
I
I had to
felt that
do
way
things.
too.
I felt like I had to do things to earn love. And sometimes I still feel that way. And it takes me a long time to get through to the point where like I don't feel like I would be honest. Like I talked about earlier that Heffa and I go spurts where we don't get to talk, and it feels bad because I love talking to you, Heffa. This has been a bunch of fun. Thank you so much for this.
Yes, not a
But
problem.
but it's I would feel bad to the point where like I would apologize to people for not talking to them for like a couple days or something, right? Like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to you in a couple days.
And,
I feel so bad.
and trust me, I get that way too. But then I also have to sit back and remind myself everybody has a life outside of this.
Yes, yes, and
And
that's so
so
hard.
And so with everything going on, like even if we don't talk for days, weeks, months, even there's people that I haven't talked to in over a year or so.
Hmm.
Even then, like I know like them and I are good for the most part until they tell me otherwise, we
Yeah.
are fine.
Yeah, and it's learning that and making sure that you're honest with the people in your life. If you need something, if you feel like you haven't talked in a long time and you need to talk, let's reach out. Like just say, "Hey, I miss you" or something. It's not weird, it's not cringe, it's not any of those things. It's just,
Exactly.
sometimes other people are feeling the same way and they don't know how to breach that that wall of feeling weird about it. So someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. Might as well be you.
Like someone has to take the step, might as well have to be you.
Yeah, so never, make sure you reach out to the people who love you, the people you love, and make sure if you do need help, you find those resources, therapy, hotline, whatever it is. You are loved. We love you. You're doing a great job. It's not easy, but you can do this. We believe in you.
Exactly. And look, I have to take this from Gurren Lagann for a moment. Don't believe me. Do not believe. I don't believe in you. Believe in me that believes in you.
That's right. I love that. Thank you for saying that. Heffa, this is I don't want to keep you for too long. I feel like we could talk forever. I feel like we could talk
That is, look,
forever.
it's always gonna be a thing. But I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
people are gonna be busy. Look, I'm a busy bee too at times. So
yeah.
hit me with the last questions, please.
Heffa, Heffa, I appreciate you. So, all right, so I'll do my little spiel. Heffa, these are going to be the hardest questions you've ever heard in your life. That's not actually true. I just say that to make it sound way harder than it actually is. So, first
Great, put me
question.
on the spot, why don't you?
First question is, what is your favorite card? And we've actually expanded this recently. If you have a favorite card that's not magic related, you're more than welcome to bring that up too.
My favorite card, I will say, and this is gonna be coming out of Wolfgar, of course.
Of course.
Bedlam, a
Oh,
four drop, a four drop enchantment for those who do not know. In red, that says creatures can't block. Look, in times to where I feel like a lot of people are putting up defenses I feel like I can't get through, I just drop this on their head and be like, you know what? I don't care if you got big beefy creatures in my face. I'm coming in hot and you're not gonna do anything about it. And
oh,
trust me,
Bedlam.
I'm not afraid of the crackback if I am
This
dropping
is true.
this.
This is actually so. This is true. I will say you've always like I think you've literally prefaced half of your attacks with I know I'm gonna get it back, but here we
I don't
go.
care.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do that. This is gonna happen one way or the
Or
other.
the way that I say it best, I get in where I fit in.
Yeah, you get in. Hey, and you know what? If you get cracked back, you get cracked back. But half the time, like you're not getting all the crack back, so it doesn't really matter, right? You're not
Exactly.
getting it all. So I Bedlam's so good though. That's fair. And as you mentioned earlier, Wolfgar is your favorite deck. Do you have another one that you'd like to throw out there as a shout out?
That's a close second. That is a very close second. And this was a recent one. Eshki, Teamer's Roar.
Ashki's
A
really
lot of people,
good.
but I will say, I will preface this because the way I built this, I'm dropping big creatures at instant speed. I am being reactive with it,
Okay.
especially when Eshki is a cast trigger,
Yep.
and she does not care when they are cast as
Yep.
long as they are on the stack.
Yeah. This is true. This is true. You're a menace, but I love it.
My goodness. And
I want to see that. I haven't gotten to see that deck. I do want to see that. That'll be fun.
but the deck that you have seen, and that is honestly a third contender for me, is a Nixia. Hand of
Nixia,
Erebos.
yes. I like Nixia a
As a
lot.
lot of people have seen a lot of people have seen the alt art of, it's Beyonce, for those who do not
Yep.
know, and the zombies that I have are Megan Thee Stallion. Yes, the H Town hotties, as I'm gonna call them.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out H Town.
Yes, I did that because I wanted to play into a gimmick, but also at the same time, though, I wanted to do something different with sagas. Because when I saw the idea of sagas come out, they were pretty interesting to say the least. When Enixia came out in the Commander, I believe 2021.
I think
No,
that's
not
right.
2021. What set was it? Was it 2021?
That feels right, but I'm sure we're gonna get a correction here shortly.
Can we get a correction, please? Before
No, keep going. I'll let you know the set when it comes up.
okay, but around that time, when I saw Enixia, I was thinking, you know what? Let's start milling these hoes in the bin when she enters or attack. Let's make token copies of it and make matters better, at least for me. Let's populate them since they are technically tokens.
Oh my gosh. That deck is wild. That deck is absolutely wild.
Look, do you know how many times I had the opportunity to say that I have 5 Bahamut's on the board? 5?
That's ridiculous. Commander Masters. Commander Masters.
Commander Masters, thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
That yeah, that deck is fun. I like it. Also just the fact that it is Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion makes it even better. Honestly, if we're being real about it.
Look,
What is a card you think people should play? Or no, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack a little. I went ahead of myself. What's a card that you would say you play most often? Doesn't have to be colorless, but like if you play green, this is a card that goes in every green deck, so on and so forth.
and every green deck that I've seen
It
Mess play in,
it
nine
doesn't.
times out of 10, I'm gonna be for no. I'm saying this flat out as a preface because green is my favorite color on
It's
Magic
true.
the Gathering
I
first and
do know that.
foremost.
Yeah, I do know that.
But in every green deck that I've seen myself play in, I have never seen myself not put in a Rich Car's expertise.
Rich Card's extra cheats is good. I mean, hey, card draw is always good.
Card draw and getting ready to cast at least a mid to big thumper for free.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Jeez, why would I not pass that up?
yeah, that's really good. It'll get power crept at some point. It'll be like draw 2 cards for every powerful creature or something,
Look,
and then
if it ever
ferocious.
get power crept at that
Yeah,
point, I'm like, you know what? I'm still gonna stick to
yeah.
the classics,
There you
okay?
go. I was gonna say, and then the other part, the ferocious part's gonna be like create 5 world spine worms. That'll be the power creep. Create 5 world spine worms.
Oh my
That have haste.
talk about a game ender. Shit.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, Rich Card and a greater good. Yeah, that's what we need. It's all the card draw in the fucking world. Yeah, actually, kill all the world spine worms. Make all the 5/5s. Somehow, don't mill yourself. I don't even know.
Gaia's blessing is also a
Oh, there you go.
thing.
There you go. There you go, guy. Oh, I love Guy's Blessing. Actually, Guy's Blessing is really, really good. Guy's Blessing is really fun. Okay, now for the question I was going to ask: what's a card you think people should play more often, or a mechanic or a play style that you think people should play more often?
I'm gonna be biased here. Don't be afraid to swing on a bitch.
Hell yeah.
Go aggro.
Hell yeah.
Please. Go aggro. Because I have seen a lot of people, at least as of recently, wants to play more combo heavy decks, more control decks, wants to sit behind pillow fort and try to at least see things from the outside until the game is slowed down enough to where they see an opening to end it.
Yeah.
No, swing on a bitch,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, it's like not even mid range at that point. It's like long range. They're like,
Exactly.
all right, it's
You're
turn
playing way too
10.
passively for my blood.
Like, oh, it's turn 10. I can finally do something.
Mm-mm.
No, like
Mm-mm.
swing and don't be and I will add to that. Don't be afraid to swing early. Like, don't be like, oh, I have this 1/1, but I don't want to swing anyone. Just swing at someone. Just do it. Just
Swing, please.
don't leave damage on the table. Don't leave
Exactly.
unless
Especially when you can get value from it.
exactly. And unless you're like unless you're like, I need to protect myself. Like if you can just swing, if you have a free swing, like just do it. Just do it. Like
Take it and do not feel bad doing it.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna you're not gonna like lose the game because you swung a 1/1 on turn 2. I mean, I guess there are people who will like hold the grudge against you for the entire game, but you know what? That's less about
And
you and
try
more
to
about them.
and nuke you because of it. Trust me, I've been there.
That's more about them than it is about you. I'll tell you what. What as a final question here, what are some goals and hopes that you have for first Magic the Gathering or Wizards as a whole. Secondly, for your content. And then thirdly, for yourself. It could be the near future, the long future, whatever have you.
I will say, starting with Wizards first and foremost. Look, I'm gonna preface this by flat out. I named myself Loudmouth Heffa for a reason. One, I do not care if I ever get like an ambassadorship or a sponsorship for them or not. If it happens, cool. I'm willing to accept that in open arms. But I'm not going to go out of my way to try to seek it out. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I know myself to where I know I'm rough around the edges and I'm going to embrace that fully. As for my content, I'm just going to continue being me about it, which is prefacing back to what I said literally like seconds ago. Like, I'm going to continue being the rough around the edges, loud, rambunctious, ghetto ratchet, me. Because that's all I've known myself to be. I'm not going to switch my style up for nobody, all because all because of one, a trend, two, oh, if is keeping an eye on me to be an ambassador or something, I'm not switching my flow up for nobody. So we can scratch that out. For myself, ultimately, I guess I can say my biggest goal, which I'm already doing, but I'm going to continue to do, not lose sight of myself in all of this. Because with everything going on right now, even in the content creation space, even in real life too, like the world has been running amok and it has been very easy to get lost and consumed with everything going on, and being able to not lose myself in that process or in the midst of it all, I have to learn to do this for myself more, pat myself on the back for it, because if it wasn't for me sticking to my gun, y'all would not have been seeing me here.
Yeah.
Let that be known.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so proud to know you. I'm so proud of all the work that you do. I appreciate that you were willing to have me on a stream randomly and then apparently enjoy it enough to bring me back again and again and again. And
Look. I'm always the type of person that I always say, if you enjoyed yourself well enough and if you don't scare people off, or if you felt like you haven't scared people off, I'm going to bring you back. There is no ifs, ands, or buts.
well, but I really do mean it when I say if it wasn't for you being willing to bring me on, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So I want to give you that credit. I want to give you that shout. I want to give you your flowers for that because I didn't know that I would do stream games, right? Like I didn't know that that would be a thing, and I'm
Mm,
about to have tears in my eyes, but I don't know that I
me
would.
too, guys.
I didn't know that I would be willing to do it, and then I finally put myself out there to do it, and then I've been able to be on a bunch of streams and got to the point where I made a whole bunch of friends, going to Magic Con, have them as friends now, being on their streams that I've really enjoyed myself on, and people that I've really enjoyed myself. And it wasn't for you being willing to do that, this might not have happened. So thank you so much for
Look,
that.
I'm getting ready to fucking cry right now. I told myself that I was gonna be a G and not cry. What the hell?
Same. Yeah.
I did not know that I had that much of an impact.
Yeah, you really
I
did.
really
I know you did.
didn't.
I know you didn't. But like, I'm glad that we were. I wanted to make sure I told you now because it's important for the. I want the people to who have impacted me in such a positive way to know that they've impacted me in such a positive way. Because like I'm gonna name drop some of my friends because I love them to death. I wouldn't know Shy if it wasn't for keeping with up with the content because I didn't know that I would keep up with the content. I wouldn't know Van Quig. I wouldn't know Jason Ashcraft. I wouldn't know MTG Demonic Tutor. I wouldn't know MJ. I wouldn't know JM. I wouldn't know like any of these people if it wasn't for the fact that you said, "Hey, come on this." I had a blast, and I said, "I want to keep doing this." So thank you for
You know what? No problem. Oh my
that.
God. Well, like I said, I've always been the type of person that ultimately I want to bring people in. Like, even if you felt like that you are bigger than me when it comes to all this, don't forget where you come from.
Yeah,
Let that be known.
yeah. This this is in, bring the people with you. Bring the people with you. And I'm not big by any means, but if I do go anywhere, you're coming with me, whether you like it or not. So, thank you,
Fair.
thank you so much. I really do appreciate.
Not a problem, Suge.
Heffa, thank you so much for being here today. Is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about? Like we talked about Commander Shield coming up in a couple months, but anything else you're going to, or anything else you want to talk about?
I, you know what? As an apology letter to those that promised to go to MagicCon in Atlanta last year but didn't, I'm going to this year.
Yay! There we go. Hell
I'm going to
yeah!
MagicCon Atlanta.
Love it.
So For those that wanted to meet me for the longest of times and haven't and cussed me out because of it, you get to see it, bitch. Tackle me, slap me, I don't care. Look, at this point, as long as it's out of love and we are all having a good time at this point, I don't care.
Remember, don't leave
Do
damage on the table.
just don't hit the face because this
Yeah.
is a moneymaker.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
So
But other than that, though,
we're getting to see you.
sorry.
No, it's okay. We get to see you in Atlanta. We get to see you at Commander Seal. What else? Or you can also just talk about your socials.
Social media is anywhere and everywhere. It's on social media, loudmouth_, because there's always going to be one of me and there will never be another.
That's right.
Cool. I recently made this announcement. I'm going to make this announcement again. April 17th, which is the day after my birthday, I am hosting an all-day charity stream to where Jose is going to be a part of as well, to where I am raising in money for Commander Sealed for the Trevor Project as well, from 12 p.m. Central to 12 a.m. the next day.
Hell yeah.
This is going to be all day, so at this point, I need to start up my coffee as soon as I wake up because I know I'm just gonna be plotting in this goddamn chair and desk all day.
I'm gonna have to remind you to drink your water too. I'm gonna have to do that redeem a million times just to make sure you actually drink your water.
Fine. And I'll drink a lot more water, folks, for those who have always told me that I don't.
That's right. That's right. You drink your water because you know what? If you're having a bad day, just drink some water. Maybe it'll be a little better. Who knows? And if it doesn't, at least you're hydrated. Heffa, thank you so much for being here. You are amazing. We're gonna put the link for the Trevor Project stuff in the bio as well, just to make sure that, or the description I should say, so that we make sure that if you were able to donate, if you can't donate, add like send it to friends.
Just share it around.
Yeah, share it around,
please.
Share it around. It's an important thing. We just want to make sure people who may not feel like they are loved do feel that support and love. So
Exactly.
thank you so much. I'll try not to make you cry again before the end of this.
Look, but as I always say, don't judge me, judge the horrible way I play this game. And until then, I catch y'all around. Bye now.
That's right. And thank you everyone for joining us. Remember to like, share, subscribe, go follow Heffa, and if nothing else, remember that when despair tries to win, counter with hope. Love y'all. Have a good day.
Bye now.